Our topic is about the integumentary system. What is the integumentary system? So actually it is consists of the skin and its accessory structures, no, such as hair, nails, sebaceous glands, and sweat glands. These are the functions of the integumentary system in general. So there is a whole lot of the word protect here. Also, may ara pagid nga, it helps excrete waste materials through perspiration or sweating. Also act as a receptor, no? Somatosensory system. Kumbaga, we can feel things through the skin, no? It also generate vitamin D through exposure to UV light. And we store water, fat, glucose, vitamin D in our integumentary system. Also, it helps in the formation of new cells sa mga minor injuries in order to repair itself. And it regulates body temperature. The skin is the exterior covering of the body, and mainly the integumentary system, when we talk about it, we are going to talk about skin, no? Mainly. It weighs more than 6 pounds and in the average adult, and it covers more than 3,000 square inches. So, sa amo na yan ang size, it is considered as the largest organ of the body. It is supplied with blood vessels and nerves. The skin provides protection, and it protects against invasion by bacteria and other harmful agents that pwede magkakos ng disease for human beings. It protects delicate cells beneath the surface from injury, and it also inhibits excessive loss of water and electrolytes. It produces a protective pigmentation to protect the body against excessive exposure from the sun para iwas skin cancer. And it also helps produce the body's supply of vitamin D. The skin regulates body temperature as well, as we've already said. And when the body is too cold, the skin's blood vessels constrict. Now, this allows more heat-carrying blood to circulate to the muscles and organs. When the body naman is too hot, the blood vessels in the skin dilate. This brings more blood to the surface for cooling by radiation. And at the same time, sweat glands secrete more sweat that cools the body when it evaporates. That's why nagabalhas ang tao. The skin provides sensation, and because it contains millions of nerve endings that act as sensory receptors for example, pain, heat, cold, and pressure. When stimulation occurs, or example, the act bala nga gintandog mo ang hand mo sa mainit nga bagay, na-stimulate siya, nerve impulses are sent to the cerebral cortex of the brain. And then the brain triggers any necessary response. So it depends on you whether you fight or flight. When we say fight, sige tandugon mo lang daang mainit nga bagay, no? Or when you say flight naman, you automatically, kumbaga involuntary movement mo, kakson mo ang kamot mo from the mainit na bagay. The skin has two layers, the epidermis and the dermis. So there are three main nga layers ang skin: epidermis, dermis, and the subcutaneous layer. So ang first two layers are the epidermis and the dermis. The epidermis actually has 4 strata. The stratum corneum is the outermost strata of the epidermis, and it is most likely dead cells na dira, filled with a protein substance called keratin. It is thicker on the soles of the feet than on the eyelids, if you notice, because where there is less pressure, amo na siya ang mas nipis. No, it's because of our constant using of our feet. Maglakat kita mo na nga mas tiga ang aton soles of the feet. The stratum lucidum is a translucent layer lying directly beneath the corneum. It may not even exist in thinner skin because cells in this layer also dead man, and sometimes wala siya naga-exist in other skin, lalo na mga nipis. And they are in the process of dying naman ang other skin. Kumbaga, gina-push outward na siya kaya manugpatay na ang skin cells. Next is the stratum granulosum. It is one or more layers of cells starting to die and becoming hard. If you notice, halin kita sa dead skin cells and then medyo patay na, manugpatay na, or something like that. They are in the process of keratination na sila and becoming fibrous protein similar to that in the hair and nails. Next is the stratum germinativum. It is composed of several layers of living cells, no? Capable of cell division. It is the innermost layer of the epidermis and it contains melanin. No? What is melanin? It is the pigment that gives color to the skin. The more abundant the melanin, the darker the skin color. Damage to these layers, such as in, for example, severe burns na sunog, requires skin grafts. Basta yan, dara na naglabot ang damage, kinanglan na sang skin grafts. The dermis is beneath the epidermis and is composed of connective tissue. It contains the lymphatics, nerves, nerve endings, blood vessels, the sebaceous and sweat glands, elastic fibers, and also the hair follicles. Now let's go to the layers of the dermis. The dermis is divided into two layers, the papillary and the reticular layers. First, the papillary layer, it is arranged into microscopic structures that form ridges. Ano ning mga ridges nga ni? Amo ni ang ginatawag nga fingerprints kag footprints. Next naman is ang reticular layer. This is beneath the papillary layer and it is a white fibrous tissue that supports the blood vessels. The dermis is connected to underlying tissue by the subcutaneous tissue, and the subcutaneous tissue or hypodermis is composed of mga adipose and connective tissues. It supports and nourishes and also insulates the skin. It also cushions the skin. No, do ginaprotektahan niya. The hair is a thread-like structure formed by a group of cells that developed within a hair follicle or socket. Each hair has a shaft nga ginatawag and it is visible sa naked eye, and also a root that is embedded in the follicle. Ang ginatawag nga pilomotor is a muscle that is attached to the side of the hair follicle. It is stimulated by mga skin irritants, emotional arousal, chills, or cold temperatures. And it reacts by contracting. And mo na ang ginatawag ta nga ang ginatawag ta bala nga goosebumps, no? Ang technical term niya na is ang mga goose flesh or goose pimples, no? Goosebumps. At the base of each hair follicle is a bulb enclosing a loop of capillaries. It is called the hair papilla, and it provides nourishment to the hair. It is one of the few living parts of the hair and is responsible for hair growth. So, ara dadampi ang follicles. The transparent cuticle covers the hair shaft like shingles on a roof, protecting it from the elements and chemicals, and from losing moisture. The cortex provides most of the hair's weight, and it contains melanin as well, which provides color to the hair. It also stores oils and provides flexibility and elasticity. Also, it adds shape to the hair. When the cuticle is damaged and gets exposed, no, or it exposes the cortex, the hair looks dull and dry na. The medulla is the inner hollow cord that runs the length of the shaft. Sebaceous glands are oil glands. They have tiny ducts that open into each hair follicle. Each sebaceous gland secretes sebum, which lubricates the hair and skin. The amount of secretion varies with age, puberty, and pregnancy. Fingernails and toenails are hard keratin structures that protect the ends of the fingers and toes. The nail root, also called the germinal matrix or nail bed, begins several millimeters into the finger and extends to the edge of the white crescent-shaped lunula. This is where the growth occurs, and approximately 1 millimeter per week na siya kung magtubo ang kuko. The undersurface of the nail plate or body of the nail has grooves that help anchor it para hindi makakas or madagdag lang ang imong kuko. The cuticle is also called the eponychium. It fuses the nail plate and the skin of the finger together to form a waterproof barrier. Next naman, the hyponychium is under the free edge of the nail, and it also creates a waterproof barrier fusing the skin of the finger to the underside of the nail plate. And always remember that a lost fingernail or toenail will always regenerate. Amo na gani nga may ginatawag kita nga ingrown toenail. Sudoriferous glands are sweat glands. About 2 million are distributed over the surface of the body, and more numerous on the palms of the hands, soles of the feet, forehead, and axillae or the underarms. That's why amo na ang mga areas nga daw permi ginabalhas. And lastly, sweat glands produce sweat or ginatawag nga perspiration. And as sweat collects on the skin surface, it evaporates, no? And it creates a cooling effect para sa mga nainitan. That's why kung nainitan ang lawas ng tao, nagabalhas siya. No? Sweat also rids of the body of wastes through the pores of the skin. And as a trivia, the average person loses approximately 1/2 liter of fluid through sweating every day. So that's it.